So Google's first tablet attempt has arrived, designed to take out the Kindle Fire. But let's get one thing clear, the Google Nexus 7 is not an iPad killer, but at less than half the price, it really doesn't need to be. Now, the Asus-built Nexus 7 is all about media consumption and is crammed with pretty impressive spec. A quad-core 1.3 GHz Tegra 3 processor, a 1280 by 800 pixel screen, and the all-new Android 4.1 Jelly Bean operating system, and that's all for £160. Build quality is superb. The rubberized back is a neat touch that makes one-handed use very, very easy without fear of dropping it. The aluminium edges add a nice touch, buttons have been kept to a minimum, and the speaker placement gives it a nice clear sound for its size. Now, while it lacks the wow factor of the iPad's Retina display, the Nexus 7 still has a very decent 7-inch IPS screen that's certainly good enough for a few hours reading without eye strain. HD movies look fabulous with rich, vibrant colours, although still images can look a little washed out, something that's particularly noticeable in menus and apps. Android 4.1 or Jelly Bean may be an incremental update, but there are big improvements. Particularly impressive are the new gestures. To delete something, for example, you simply flick it off the screen. There are now 6 customizable home screen icons that can be made into folders, and auto rearrangement of icons or widgets is pretty nifty too. Now, the interface is largely the same as ICS, but there are fewer bugs and general navigation feels much slicker than before. That has a lot to do with Google's Project Butter, which is basically an attempt to bring Android up to iOS levels of slickness and banish device lag. And it's certainly done that. Swiping through screens is speedy and responsive. And it's worth noting the Nexus 7 will rotate for other apps, but the home screen is fixed in portrait. Many of Google's default apps have been overhauled as well, and they look good. The graphics on the more channel-centric YouTube look awesome, while a tablet-optimized Gmail makes better use of the available screen space. Google's also feeling generous. Not only is it handing out free content across its Play Store range when you activate your Nexus 7 with a Google account, but £15 of Google Play credit has been chucked in as well. One of the most impressive new features is Google Now, an organizer with a brain that learns about you the more you use it. It takes the form of cards, which show you information based on your location. For instance, use Google Maps navigation sat-nav software and it will show you how long it will take to get home, taking into account traffic. Or it can combine your diary, location and travel info to warn you that you're going to be late for an appointment. Stand at a bus stop and it can even tell you when your next bus is going to arrive. So in theory, it's always one step ahead, but it is of course a less compelling feature given that the majority of its data requires an internet connection and the tablet is Wi-Fi only. And there is of course still access to Google Play, but very few take advantage of either the quad-core processor or the Jelly Bean OS. But the Nexus 7 is incredibly fast, with the quad-core processor and Project Butter working together to destroy lag and general unresponsiveness. You won't have any problem watching HD video, and tablet-optimized games also look excellent on the Nexus 7's HD screen. Not quite as detail-rich as some iPad titles, but definitely the best we've seen on any other tablet, thanks to the more closely packed pixels. And with no rear snapper, the Nexus 7 isn't as camera-friendly as the rest, but there is a 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera for video calls. You're also looking at an impressive 8 to 9 hours of battery life, and that's with pretty heavy use. Voice control is pretty impressive too. Now, storage is just a little tight at either 8 or 16 gig, but there's always Google's Play and Drive cloud services. But perhaps the biggest drawback is that the Nexus 7 is Wi-Fi only, but there is Bluetooth, GPS, an accelerometer, magnetometer, and NFC. So to summarise, apps and games work beautifully on it, but it's no iPad killer. Rather, it's an affordable entertainment device that's perfect for people looking for portability. It costs just £160, offers quad-core power, a very respectable screen, beautiful build quality, and the very latest Android operating system. It's a solid performer and easily the best Android tablet a couple of £100 can buy. So while Apple and the netbook-killing Asus Transformer Prime might not have a lot to fear, all other Android tablets should be very, very afraid.